Hello, and welcome back to the Common Liberty Podcast. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Eric.
Today is May 12th, 2026, and today our guest is Michael Woodard, a local community leader and a roofing contractor in Erie, Pennsylvania. We're discussing aspects of the affordability crisis and due process in a local court case. Let's load the clip. Hello, Michael.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Right on. So we want to learn a little bit about your background, Michael, and what you do for a living and your involvement in the community. What sparks your curiosity?
Well, I'll say at this point in time, with the way that the economy is, the price of living, things going on, from the county to the city. I think I'm more or less focused on how to bring people together. I can see where there can be a separation of individuals who have a different job title. I can see where there can be a division of someone who comes from a different walk of life. And I kind of want to focus on, how to bring people together. That would be with anything, it could be with work, it could be with podcasts, it could be with just talking on Facebook, interacting with individuals that normal people wouldn't interact with. I believe that would be something that, would continuously goes through my head. We'll see somebody, some people will see people on the streets, and you walk right past them, wouldn't you? Not thinking that that person is a human, and they were at one point in time, probably in a better position. I think that helps bring people together. That continues through my head.
Bringing people together is something we need more and more of. And recently you were involved in a food drive.
Yeah.
And also recently you were helping people return safely things like batteries and tires and things like that, some waste disposal that requires a little bit extra care. And can you talk a little bit about the food drive you're involved in?
Well, I guess I was talking to Gary Horton, and I was asking him, hey, what he got going on? And one day he had told me I was looking to get a clothing drive together. He said, I got some more important things to worry about. And I said, what's going on? He said, well, on November 1st of last year, the immigrants were losing their food stamp benefits because there was no renewal if you didn't have that green card. And he said, that's something that, want to focus on. So I got a food drive, started a food drive here, took his information and ran with it. But I did specifically the wording to the Second Harvest Food Bank.
Right.
We want to make sure that we don't want to go income based on mine. Mine's not income driven. I want mine to be specifically for the immigrants, specifically for middle class families, specifically for anyone who has need for food. I think that they should get some food. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't. I don't want this to be trapped like a lot of these organizations say. Well, income this, and then some people say, well, they're cheating the system. All right, somebody's hungry. We don't have time to be taking names. We know what's going on in our economy as far as prices. Right. We understand where we're still in a position where we're not nowhere near above the economy level when it comes down to unemployment. Let's market where it's at. People need food. Let's help them out. And this is what this food drive would be about. And I'm pulling people from the county. I'm pulling people from the inner city. This is what this is for. It's not just for, people in the inner city. People are just in the county. Nah, I made that specific that this needs to be a rotation from people from any walks of life, any background that may want from Erie west to Erie east to north to the south of the line should be able to come to the Second Harvest Food Bank, see the post for the food drive that I'm having, and get some food on the table. And I don't want people to feel like, oh, well, I work here, so I shouldn't do that. No, this is for you. That individual that feels like, you don't make enough because obviously you're hurting, so you got to pay a bill for that. This is for that community member.
That's the way to do it. I remember when I was living in my car for a little bit out on the West Coast, they had food kitchens and stuff, and they would often accept anyone. If you came in there and you were needing a hot meal, usually pretty good too. It wasn't half bad. But like getting a hot meal for someone who's homeless or down on their times, that is a huge morale booster. And like also making sure this community and, you know, all communities across the US have food, because we produce so much of it in the United States to begin with.
Yeah.
And so much of it is just thrown away and not taken advantage of properly.
Yeah.
Restaurants are starting to wake up to the role they can play,
Nice.
donating food and preventing spoilage in restaurants. Even college students have food pantries these days. Like I think even at Gannon University, there's food pantries. So bringing people together sparks your curiosity.
Definitely.
That's fantastic, Michael. What are your hobbies?
Well, away from working and trying to put food on the table, I like to go fishing.
Nice.
I mean, I'll go out and wet a hook, relax. And it still feels like I'm at work when I'm doing that too. You know, I like to build things. I like to, you know, keep my hands dirty. You know, I might come clean sometimes, but I love to get dirty, you know, get some sweat and bust up some knuckles. I like to build things, you know, and I enjoy that.
I was always working on cars and stuff, as motorcycles in particular, dirt bikes, all that stuff as a kid. So just like, and I grew up working in more of a blue collar type thing, being an auto mechanic and dealing with that, and you know, bringing people together from these different walks of life isn't an easy thing. And I'm really happy to hear you talk about wanting to bring this people together. And because once you do, you start realizing, oh, we're dealing with a lot of the same issues too.
Yeah.
What's your hobby?
Well, I like to make models. When I was a kid, I would mash up, you know, fighter planes with tanks and things like that, and take apart aircraft carrier models and kind of mash those together. But currently, my hobby is beekeeping. I'm a honey beekeeper.
I've heard some things about the bees and how they're coming extinct, and so things like that. So you might be the ones that might be keeping our bees alive there, huh, brother?
They're definitely part of the food chain.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talk about food pantries, and, you know, when we go back to the source of food that is in a food pantry or a food bank like Second Harvest that you mentioned, at some point when you go back far enough, we're looking at how the honeybees and other bees, pollinators in general, play such a crucial role in the environment. And so we have to be concerned a little bit, at least, about things like glyphosates, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides that travel through the air, travel through the water, and that affects the food that the honeybees eat. And so that in turn affects the food that we eat. And so, yeah, honeybee keeping is a solid hobby for me. And I love it. Gives me a lot of peace of mind, and it makes my car smell great.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I do this podcast with Geoff. I'm on disability, so I have a little bit more time on my hands, you know, but also just playing some video games with my friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's more the social aspect for me than anything, just getting on there and talking to your friends and playing a few games.
Getting some dubs on the way. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Get a couple dubs. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely getting dubs.
What are you in PlayStation, Xbox, or PC?
I have a PC.
Okay.
I'm probably going to have to get a PlayStation, though, if I want to play Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out here in November.
What's going on with that?
Oh, it comes out in November, and it's only going to be on consoles at first.
Oh, so, no doubt. Come on to the other side then, bro.
Rockstar
you know?
always does their stuff where they put it on console first and then PC like 6 months later.
Yeah.
But my buddy has a PS5 he like never uses, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, buddy, can I borrow this?"
Yep. fill him in early, but you know, you got to butter him up a little bit earlier. You know,
like,
help him with that move that he might be having come up, so then you might be able to get it. You know,
he just had a baby. I have to help him with some babysitting.
See what I'm saying? You're on your way. You're on your way.
I've played StarCraft for years and years and years, and I'm into science fiction. So, you know, nuclear launch detected. And you can play the reptilian alien characters. You can play the energy creature characters. You can play the human characters. So I just like the ability to vary the character and also to kind of build in real time. They've moved StarCraft to sort of a multiplayer online platform. I still play the PC version, and that means a computer that was manufactured in 1998.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Late 20th century.
Boy, you take it back.
An antique.
But you keeping the game alive because
Yeah.
I still bust out the Atari every now and then, just to get the feel from back in the day, you know what I'm saying? So to keep it alive, you know what I'm saying? Now, and one day forward, it might be a group of y'all just playing, kicking back, getting your game on, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And, I mean, I have a friend that likes to stream and stuff, and it's just good to get out and socialize with people, and you get to meet a lot of people doing those Twitch streams and stuff too. It's good fun, but we'll probably should keep it on topic and not get too into video games.
Look at this now.
Here we are, rolling.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Michael, tell us about a time when you feel like you turned a page in your life.
Okay. I turned multiple pages in my life.
Yeah.
So I would say I turned the page in my life when I finally understood that alcohol was not my friend. Right. Let's take it there. Mental Health Month, so let's take it to that level. You know what I'm saying? Where, you're out partying, friends, family, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and then alcohol put me in positions in my life where I thought it was okay. And then once I let it go, it's like, wow, things have been taken off straight uphill, and when that happened, deals been coming my way, contracts that I've wouldn't even have seen are coming my way. I won't blame it on it, but now I'm realigning my life to the position where I need to be taking these steps, and I'm enjoying this. I'm looking at life a lot differently now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to socialize with individuals when we got a ball in our hand. I meet you at the bar later on, deuces up, all right, I'll holler at you. But then we're wasting time. Now it looks like I was wasting time at those bars, and it's taking too much time there. And now I see where I need to put more energy into building myself up. I need to put more time into becoming a better person and not hosting parties and events that were taking me nowhere. That's the page that turned in my life, and I'm proud of it.
Excellent. Sobriety is sexy.
Yeah.
And as we mature, no matter what age we are, as we mature, we tend to recognize how important time is.
Yeah.
And the effort it takes to peel away the things that might be false, the things that might not contribute to our goals. Alcohol is a great example, but at the same time, when we invest our time the right way, other good things come back to us.
Yeah.
And time is something we can't make more of.
Yeah.
So that's really wonderful. It kind of touches on, what does a well-lived life look like to you?
Well, well-lived life is learn from your mistakes. Go out, make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go out there and go out crazy, but learning that the mistakes that you made were just the red carpet to your success. Do not take a setback and be like, oh, this happened, and beat yourself up. Now you have to learn when you're taking these setbacks and when things hit you, it was meant to be. It was meant to be for your alignment of your life. Today might be the best day of your life. A week from now could be the worst day of your life. So don't take the setback as a setback. Take it as that's another leap forward once I get through this. So what I would say is take on the setbacks, live them out, and then move forward. So you want to become the person who took generational curses that you may have had in your life, and you're able to understand what that generational curse was, whatever it may be, to your mom, to your grandma, or to yourself, or even to your kids. That generational curse could possibly be in a position where it's getting into your grandkids if you're at that age. But now you understand this has attacked me, but I need to go grab my mom. I need to go grab my son, my daughter, my nephew, that grandchild, and reach out to them and tell them, hold on, come on back here. Let me teach you how to get through life the right way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
A setback can be a set up.
Could be.
Yeah.
For what? For we set up for what?
Future success.
Okay.
So understanding that there's a difference between a setback and if you're looking backwards, the only reason to look backwards is if that's the direction you're going in.
Mm-hmm.
And looking forward, looking up, is where you connect with your mom, your grandma, your family, and you talk about connecting with other people and honoring the work that they have done that came before you, myself, Eric. That kind of set up is the positivity that we want to share with other people.
Yeah, I want to bounce back to that. Now, remember we spoke about other individuals,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't forget ourselves. This day and age, we have focused so much on social media and keeping up with that next post that we forgot to worry about ourselves. It's so easy to get up and keep up with, I need to contact this person. I need to be on top of this, that you need to worry about yourself and reset your mindset back to who you are. You could forget who you are by worrying about the next person too much, forgetting about your personal, your own mental health, because we know what soothes you, the pat on the back from the other person that you keep on trying to keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting yourself along the way would push you through life in a position where you're dragging something behind you by putting the light in front of somebody else and you giving them all the glory while all the darkness is still sitting on you. You got to let things go and move forward. Worry about it. I would say keep that person in the mirror at the top of the list of person people need to worry about versus everyone else.
Yeah, the people that we're concerned about are the people we're all connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about bringing the community together, and that's a really fantastic way to make that real.
Yeah.
We look at those posts, we look at what we see on regular media, television, things like that, but it's the connections we make with other people that really matter and last the longest.
Yeah, getting away from social media for myself has been great too. And looking at myself and my community and getting away from the rage bait and just all the crazy stuff happening on Facebook allows me to see things a little bit more clearly. It allows me to see my community more clearly with the nuance that it requires, because, I feel like a lot of people, we're all so busy in our lives. We started to replace that socialization with social media, and people act differently on social media. It's way more toxic. People are willing to say whatever they want in the comfort of their own homes. Heck, I've gotten caught up in doing it. I mean, I'm sure most of us have.
Yeah.
Sure.
But just being out and being in the community has been a wonderful thing for me. And yeah, that's about it. But that's all I have to really say. It's just been good to actually get away from that social media presence and focus on myself and my community. And it opens up a whole new perspective.
Balance is so key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moderation is so key. Recently, you visited the community of St. Louis, Missouri for some training.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, I took down, but before Justice Ricello, that happened, I was starting a commercial roofing company, and I put all that on pause. I had to stop what I had to do to, fight for justice.
Your family.
Yeah, so top of the year, 2026, I said, I'm going to pick this up. First time doing commercial roofing, and I took the opportunity, headed over there, and got some good training in. So I'm able to do commercial roofing. I'm certified in hospitals and bigger jobs now, and hopefully that this jobs can I can help our community out along the way too. This is a big opportunity for the minority community. Coming underneath my leadership moving forward, and I don't want to just do the minority community. I want to do any walk of life. It could be women, it could be children, white, black, Puerto Rican. I don't care who you are. This should be a level for anyone to be able to, my coaching should be able to help the next person become successful.
Absolutely. Some of the advice I've seen you offer involves calcium carbonate and how you clear snow off of a roof safely. And even though that's a little bit of an investment, it is really a great solution. And so you shared some wisdom with me and some solutions, because none of us can control how much snow falls. No one of us can control how much rain falls. But your perspective on how roofs can be maintained so that people have good housing is crucial. Mark Twain once said, everybody talks about the weather, but nobody does anything about it.
Yeah.
But you're one of the people who actually have some say in how the roof over somebody's head helps keep people connected.
Yeah.
I remember we had a pretty rough winter. What was it, like 96% of Lake Erie was frozen over?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brutal winter. And I remember you were giving people advice about the ice dams that they were dealing with. I had a friend who said he had Serve Pro in his house trying to dry stuff up, dealing with.
Oh yeah, they were all over the place.
And he lives in a nice, really nice upper class community in Pittsburgh, and he was dealing with ice dams and just having tons of issues.
Yeah, well, ice dams is it's an Erie thing. We see them. They're sitting on the side of the buildings, about 4 foot down, hanging on the side of the buildings, but our citizens, they don't know what the cause is for them and how they can prevent them. Have some good installation around the soffit area would help. Get some professionals out there to take a look at that. And anything on any snow over 3 foot, have some ice dams. You know what I'm saying? And they can have water backing up inside your homes. There's a proper way to relieve them. Call the pros. I wouldn't advise anyone going up on any roofs trying to do it yourself. There are some do-it-yourselfers out there. Just be safe. You know what I'm saying? Save yourself. And calling someone else in. A lot of these ice dam situations could be they could be taken care of through your insurance companies. They can end up paying for them, so you don't have to necessarily foot the bill because you got water poured in your home. You know what I'm saying? It's an insurance claim now. Some people like to say, "Well, my deductible." Well, let me tell you something. That the price of that drywall, that insulation, and whatever else may come down from the ice dam is going to be way all over your deductible. So, stop while you can, and always call professionals out.
Time and money.
Yeah,
most
for sure.
Definitely. Do you observe any differences in the maintenance of a metal roof versus a traditional asphalt shingle roof?
There's a fine line between them. Some people don't like metal. Some people don't like shingles. Shingles, they're easier to walk on if you have those type of roofs. You know what I'm saying? I would say it's easier for you hop up on a roof. You can do your maintenance and take a look. You start dealing with metal, you might put your foot up there and slip right off. You know what I'm saying? Metal is easier to install, but for the homeowner, it's not. I'll say metal roofs are not safe. To me, because if you get a metal roof on your home, some people think, hey, I paid this much for it. But you get a fireman that's up there, your house is on fire, it's hard. They're not able to cut open that roof to reveal the smoke to put the water in, to save your home. You got this sheet metal on top of your roof is just heating up. They can't open that up. You can call your house quits. You know what I'm saying? Some people, some guys will sit there arguing with me night and day about them. I would rather put some shingles on the roof. And a lot of people got to be careful though too. Is if you go to buy a house, somebody has a metal roof on there. Well, that house probably sat 3 years. The person that's going to, some contractors won't tell you this, but I'm going to be more specific. There's a leaking roof. You have a patch that's been leaking for however long, right? They're going to come in, they're going to put the metal over the top, brand new roof. But what happened to the water damage inside when you look at, and you can't get access to that attic. Now, they put the metal roof on there. Underneath that metal roof, you're going to get dry rot from the shingles. They're going to get from the wood. Now, that deteriorates over however many years and dries out and it falls. So you have this gap in your roof hidden underneath the metal. That a lot of people like to go forcefully because you only can have 2 layers of shingles in the city. Then you could put metal on. And that's where a lot of people go with that cheaper way of doing it, except for tearing everything off and going back down to the bones like they should.
Right. Okay. So underneath an asphalt shingle roof or underneath a metal roof, sometimes there's spray foam insulation. Sometimes there's fiberglass insulation. Do you have any recommendations or comments about how those two approaches mesh with taking care of a roof?
Saving time and money would be the spray. I would say go with it. That's the new way of doing things. It's kind of airtight. But if you want to just get the cheaper way, it's still Still works, but I would go with the spray foam.
Spray foam.
Yeah, I would go with that. R13 and the roofs, fiberglass. I mean, it's not too bad, but I would go with the spray. It's a lot more efficient, I believe, nowadays.
It gets in all those little cracks.
Exactly.
Because, you're just hammering wood to wood. There's still a little gap, and just saving every penny on heating costs nowadays seems to be what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
And, I have seen some YouTube videos of some crazy roofs where they're just like putting plywood right over the shingles and then put new shingle, like some wild stuff. I'm sure you've seen it all.
Yeah, I've seen it.
When I was a kid,
Fly by nights.
one of the toys we had in our backyard, we never, my brother and I never got to the level of a tree house, but Dad assembled a geodesic dome that we could climb on. And so now my dream home, several years from now, maybe a few years from now, is a geodesic dome home.
Oh, okay.
Especially one maybe made out of concrete, so that rainwater and other moisture can drain off, maybe as gray water into rain barrels to collect for a garden, something like that. Do you have any experience with geodesic dome homes?
I'm going to tell you flat out, no, I do not have no type of experience with them. If I got involved with them, I'd probably be subcontracting out the job and being on the job site every day to learn how to do them. And I don't see why that would be a problem to put one right here in Erie. You might be the first one around, Get it done.
There's one in Grove City. If you go off the interstate and you turn towards the outlet mall in Grove City and you drive past the outlet mall a couple miles, there's a geodesic dome home that has a geodesic dome garage attached to it. And so that's always kind of caught my attention as an alternative, as a way of improving maybe the maintenance or the insulation of the house.
There you go.
So as a contractor, what kinds of changes have you seen in the price of supplies, whether it's lumber or shingles or nails? What kinds of price changes have you seen for tools?
I would say since COVID, so we've seen 2 price hikes. The first one, we'll say, was COVID. It's hard to get materials. Everything was through the roof. I mean, projects were set back. Some projects are probably still set back for certain individuals right now. And then tools hiked up, but our lumber, drywall was just outrageous. People were looking at you when you give them a price like, you out of your mind. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what's going on here. And, and you feel bad, what I mean? Because we just left 1 month from, 2x4 being $125. Now it's like $315. Come on now. They're looking at you, but hey, I'm like, hey, this is what we have for the price at this point in time. So a lot of people who really needed work done were setting it back. And then we had another price hike would be right now, with the tariffs being involved. So people are really taking this hit. And then we see the economy that we live in right now. Where is the unemployment going? We're in Erie, Pennsylvania. We are not matching with Pittsburgh. We're not matching with Cleveland. So a lot of people like to entertain prices from different cities when we don't fall in that category. So let's keep it real. When it comes down to pricing things, a lot of people got mentors that are in bigger cities that they're watching these podcasts, and people are in bigger cities, and then they're hyping themselves up as contractors or hyping themselves up as property managers, or however it may be, and they're saying, oh, well, we can do what they're doing, but we live in Erie, Pennsylvania. Let's remind ourselves that our economy is not based off of what you're watching. So let's not adjust your suit. Let's not adjust your mouth to be able to explain, like, hey, this is what we need to do to our community members. Some people can't get work done at that rate.
Yeah, I mean, we have in the county, I think there's 260,000 people in total. Like
77,000 residential properties.
600,000, 400.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah, for sure.
We are a much more. I don't know. We're in kind of a cool place because we're right in between Buffalo, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
which makes it nice for finding a flight.
Right, look at him. He found a way to get out of here, though.
It is nice though. Like my mom will go and see her friends, and she looks at all 3 airports for the best price, and we'll go to whichever one because they're all roughly about the same.
Yeah.
The other aspect of building, construction, quality housing in Erie, have you noticed any changes in the quality of materials? You know, the quality of the pine and 2x4s, things like that.
I would say the quality of adjusted rates. I would say that's the only quality I'm seeing. They've got a fine line between keeping the prices up, but the quality of the materials, they're just cheaper and cheaper as we get along.
And how about contractors insurance, liability insurance, things like that?
That has definitely went up. Liability and contractor insurance. I mean, there's plenty of guys out here that have workman's comps and things, and we have to keep that in consideration with our costs. It's sometimes it's okay to get away with general liability insurance, but sometimes you get some guys on top of that, and you want to make sure that, hey, if they get injured, the price is up. But then that helps you trying to filter your quality guys, because some guys come onto the job and they're not very efficient when it comes down to getting the job done properly. And you got to keep guys that are efficient, but then the price of paying them versus paying for their insurance, it's continue going up. So you're in a juggle with that, So it's up to the contractor to make the rightful decisions on who he wants on his job sites. And normally we want to go with the quality workers, so that keeps our prices up, and it kind of hurts the customers along the way.
Labor is an important cost. If you want quality work, you hire the people with the skills, and you pay for the skills, you pay for the time. And it also seems like all of these increased costs for contractors might have an impact on landlords deferring maintenance. Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, I've heard it, seen it. There's a difference between a contractor and there's a difference between their maintenance man. Okay. There's also I've seen a sky rise in tenants that are doing work for the landlords just to offset the price. But you got to think about it. When landlords are utilizing their tenants that are not licensed, they're not skilled, but they can tell you I know how to do it, and they knock $200 off my rent, and I'll knock this out for you. That helps the tenant. That helps the landlord at that time, but the quality of the work wasn't there. You feel what I'm saying? So now, when that tenant moves out, that same problem is still there, and then the landlord can say, "Hey, well, I hired a guy." Okay, you're hiring a guy, which everybody has that same rhythm of conversation. You hired a guy. Now your property is going lower and lower, and your next tenant's going to be able to move to a house that's not really rental ready. It was just Band-Aided up. So I do see landlords that are definitely seeking and searching to find contractors. But, yeah, the prices are definitely a big deal for them.
And that contributes to the price of rent.
Yeah.
And we all have heard and seen and experienced how rents are going up astronomically, skyrocketing. And so we see, an increase in, do people pay for rent or do they pay for food? And those are really, really tough issues for a lot of people these days.
Yeah.
And so we see the connections that you're building in the community to help people, not just with having a quality home to live in, whether they're renting or owning, but also putting food on the table at the same time.
I mean, I grew up in the Lower East Side and single mom home, so I understand what it feels like when you have, and the kids around me and the families around me. You grow up, you see things. We moved out to LA, moved out a couple places. I've seen the background of a lot of places at a very young age. When we come back to Erie, and let's keep it back home. There is like a crisis for food and affordable homes. Since COVID, I've watched a lot of the landlords lean towards Airbnb. So I'm working on these homes, I hear Airbnb. Kudos to you. But every time, imagine we'll say every landlord Airbnbs 15 other properties. Where is the citizen supposed to go?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I asked them, a couple, why are you continuing Airbnb and everything? Because during the COVID, everybody had money to stay in these Airbnbs. I don't want to leave my mom. I got enough money coming in through the COVID. They was getting them checks. So it was a rotation of Airbnbs. Nobody want to be at home. We're going to party here. We're going to go there. And then I'm slowly seeing these Airbnbs returning back to the single-family homes. I'm watching them come back to the original status that they once were because the money isn't flowing in. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
Nobody
great
has the
observation.
money
Yeah.
to just spend. Now these landlords are watching that their properties are just sitting on still.
Right.
Okay, let's take it back to the basics. So let's open up a couple of these homes again and give these people some stuff back to the people. And then they said there was a shortage in housing in our communities. No, there was an increase of Airbnbs in our community. That's why they left the people who wanted a home no homes. You got 150 citizens and families that can't find homes, that are overfilled in shelters or living in people's basements just to get by. Open up these Airbnbs, get the people back their homes, and watch. We'll see it settle out just a little bit.
Right.
I mean, we were talking about Airbnb right before here.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were talking about all
Wow.
the crazy fees that they put on.
Yeah,
Cleaning and all those.
We were just like, we kind of want to just stay at a hotel at this point.
exactly.
But like, no, we've seen, and also we see landlords when they do build stuff, they're building more like upper middle class luxury type apartments, and a lot of those are sitting empty.
Yeah,
You know, and I mean, it's even worse in bigger cities because you have like the real estate industry trying to sell like properties that are just like $20 million and no one ever it's just a investment, you know? Because they have like all those freaking towers in New York City that just like, oh, one person lives in this entire tower. The rest are just owned by rich people living
Exactly.
across the country. It's just an actual asset for
Yeah.
them, you know? And it's frustrating to see because we also are walking down the street seeing people that could clearly be living in those homes, and you're going, oh, well, maybe they should have got new skills and all this stuff. And you're just like, it's $3,000 rent. What do you expect them to do? And
good point.
You mentioned moving from Los Angeles back to the east side and coming from a very large metropolitan area to a city the size of Erie, about 100,000 people. And today, 2026, what kinds of things do you want to see in the future for housing for people in Erie, especially on the east side?
I would say respectful rent prices. Let's knock it off with following the agendas of the surrounding cities since COVID. All right, it's time to the price hikes. You know, they put a little bit of new flooring in there, changed the paint of the property. They put a new kitchen in there, and now your house is worth $400 more per month. Let's cut it out. Let's not forget that you have a 100-year-old home, and the price is shot up. I mean, I've been watching this. With that being said, is the east side could entertain some pretty reasonable pricings, but you have individuals that circulate around what's going on around them and not understanding what affordable housing means. They'll put the name on it. They'll stamp that name on it in a heartbeat. But then people are looking at, why do you find this being affordable when you have to stand back and correct the situation of how much is our economy really making here in Pennsylvania? Okay, we have $15 an hour minimum wage. We see where you're coming from. But you're hiking prices at the pinpoint of Pittsburgh's housing rates. And then you're saying, well, this is the right way of going about it because the rest of the economy is doing the same thing, so we're going to follow up. This is what it needs to be, when people can't afford that. People can't afford what you're giving them. And like you said, first month's, last month's rents. Come on now. Come on now.
Deposit.
In the security deposit. Come on now.
Talking about $3,000.
Come on.
Easily.
Come on. And they're barely making it. Mama's basement has definitely been an entertainment for a lot of people trying to make it, and that's give us a break.
Go ahead.
Okay. I have seen also just like there are community development corporations operating in Erie County that are saying, you know, oh, we're going to focus on affordable housing, and then they're saying affordable housing is $850 amount, and then they're like, oh, workforce housing's like $1,100, and I'm just like, whoa, like that $850 needs to be closer to workforce, and you need to be having $500-$600 rent for affordable, like even cheaper in some cases, because it's the wages aren't there.
All of these factors, the cost of food, the cost of housing, the cost of gasoline, the cost of a gallon of latex paint. Before the pandemic, maybe about $25-$30 for a tinted gallon of interior latex, maybe with a semi-gloss finish.
Yeah.
And now that price of 1 gallon of paint could be $50. Easily. Yeah. So as we're talking about the community and all the connections that we make in the community, let's turn our focus just a little bit to some of the changes in the east side of Erie since the pandemic, and especially the sign that you brought in for the podcast today. What happened on July 2nd, 2025?
Well, what happened on July 2nd was Michael Woodard was shot and killed. He was unarmed by his parole officer. And that changed the city. I would say that changed our community. That changed the vision of the community based with law enforcement versus the citizens. The trust level dropped. That put everyone on guard moving forward. That shook the rails of freedom, transparency, any corruption that we may have thought of, may have been going on, that we kept our mouth shut about. We broke the chains.
Just a couple months before Michael Woodard was shot in cold blood, there was an incident on Parade Street on the east side in Erie where some high school kids, middle school kids, were walking along Parade Street, and the police pulled over and were putting these young people in the back of the cruiser because they weren't using the crosswalk.
Yeah.
And you talk about the trust in the community. And that incident happened in maybe May of 2025. And not long after that, Michael Woodard was shot to death. So I think maybe some of what we want to get into is the Justice for Cello movement and what it achieved. And can you talk a little bit about your role and maybe how the family is doing now, and what's the history of that movement to create justice for cello?
Well, everybody in the family is still going through it, you know, hearts broken. A little bit of relief since he was charged. A little bit of relief. We got a lot of work to do. So we just keep saying prayers for the family.
Right.
Keep on screaming justice for cello.
Right.
There's a long road ahead of us, and we're not giving up. Since the movement, it's been, I don't know, I just went out, started the movement singly, just out there, just trying to scream justice, trying to break through any barriers that it may have been, and understanding that, hey, we're going to go, Justice Cello movement, the family, that'd be the community. You guys came to plenty of those protests out there.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people, a lot of people boots
County
on the
courthouse.
ground. Yeah, a lot of people boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I want to thank the community that was the screaming justice for cello, that was part of Justice for Cello movement. I had a march. And we're just letting the community, letting downtown know. We letting the states know that it's going to get bigger and bigger, and we're going to be, moving forward with anything and everything we have to do to get justice for cello. It was just, I was able to get into the places where I probably shouldn't have been going. You know what I'm saying?
Can you give me an example?
Well, I'm knocking at, let's say Mike Friedel's office down at our governor's office down here on 100 State Street down there. I'm knocking on the door of his office on live, looking for him. Hey, Mike, you know what I'm saying? Didn't know who the guy was. You know what I'm saying? We're going into trying to meet with the DA, trying to meet with state representatives from outside of here. I'm taking off, going over to New York. I still won't put the word out there yet about what's going on with that. Still got somebody in the tuck, like I said, that's a powerful voice. You know, there's people that I don't know. I just met a lot of people along the way, and every day I woke up, it was more like, you know, we don't have justice today. We might have it tomorrow. We can't stop. You know, justice. Wake up in the morning. Justice for Cello. We're still that. It was able to. We didn't have to fight and go out when Ben Crump came. You know, when Ben Crump showed up, it was like, here we go. It's time. We done made some moves, but after that, Ben Crump still told us, you still need to fight.
Yep.
Go to the DA. Go to the Pennsylvania State Police. Apply that pressure daily. I put billboards up when it came down. When it came down to that march, we had prayers about justice for Cello, and as we continue on July 2nd of this year, Malachi Woodard Jones is Marcello's son. We're hosting a legacy day for Cello. We don't know what the actual location going to be, but Cello had a way of giving back to his community. What did he do? Book bags, bikes, haircuts. And this is exactly what this is going to be about. This is for a city, county-wide situation, reaching out to the whole 814, not just inner city. It's for the community to come together and continue the legacy of Marcello Woodard.
The Justice for Cello movement is a powerful voice that cannot be ignored. And you mentioned about the district attorney and the length of time it took for charges to be brought. And there's a lot of factors to that. And we'd like to observe that this studio here is a location where the district attorney once hosted their own podcast. And so in a sense, we're taking this space back for the Justice for Cello movement.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you bringing your signs in and your story to give that voice some depth and meaning, because it cannot be stopped. And there's a future to how the police and parole officers, probation officers, can interact with the community in a positive way, and that rehabilitation can actually happen so that there is not a generational cycle of being unsafe, feeling unsafe, just walking down the sidewalk. And that's one of the key perceptions we need to change.
Yeah.
And we also want to acknowledge that the community is not monolithic and holding one single point of view. You talk about bringing people together. And there are other people who advocate for there's a way to bring people back to jobs, back to housing, back to productive lives that end a generational issue. And so one of the things we can talk about is in the future, July of this year, you're having a get-together to commemorate Marcello Woodard's life. And we might not know where the location is, but we know how important that date is.
Yeah.
The date that things changed in Erie.
Yeah.
And so I think there are other people that need to be observing what the Justice for Cello movement has achieved. You mentioned civil servants like Michael Woodard in the governor's office, okay, and people that maybe behind the scenes, maybe publicly, like City Councilman Andre Horton, just a tremendous leader in the community.
Yeah.
People like Mr. Fred Rush, historical leader in the community who's going to be celebrated very soon also. And so we honor the memory of Marcello Woodard, and we support his family in every way that we can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Justice for Cello, or we won't settle.
Justice for Cello.
You know, justice for Cello, or we won't settle.
We won't settle.
Justice for Cello, or we won't settle. But that also is the reason why Malachi had came up with his moving forward, and he started Enough Blood Official on Facebook. And listen to the name.
Enough blood.
Enough blood. Enough is enough. It's time to help other families with wrongful deaths. You know what I'm saying? This gives the community members a voice. You know, this is a safe place for you, a safe place for anyone that may have to go through this. any unjust. This is a safe place for you to voice to voice what's going on with you and your family, and a comfort zone to get help moving forward with any type of mental health you may be going through, any type of recognition you may want to get out. This helps support the community moving forward. And that goes from Erie, PA to Pennsylvania to moving forward to the whole nation of the United States of America. This is growing.
The diversity of the police force in Erie is a longstanding question that has to be addressed consistently and with a long-term perspective in mind. One of the good things in the community is the Police Athletic League. And we also want to keep that in mind because as young people in the community grow up and they graduate from high school, that's something that the parents want to celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, the achievements of their children and their ability to participate in the community and feel like it's safe, to feel like there are people looking out for them.
Yeah.
And it's not just people who are law enforcement officers, it's really the people in the neighborhoods. And we all remember the time where you had to be in the house when the street lights come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And if one kid was running down the sidewalk, you know, and maybe was out a little bit late, you know, all the parents would be aware, you know, let's make sure we're at home at the right time and staying safe. And I think there's a tremendous lesson we can learn from the Justice for Cello movement because we don't want to talk too much about the court case because it's ongoing and active, but we also want to demonstrate our love and respect for the Woodard family.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm happy to see that, you know, we are continuing this movement with enough blood.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many other people who are just like Cello in this country that have had their life taken from them, you know, unjustly. And enough is enough. And we have a history of it. We know the problems with it. You know, the United States has the largest number of incarcerated people on the planet, you know, yet we always say we're the freest country in the world. Like,
talk about it.
You know, how can we be the freest country in the world when we have more people in prison in our country than China does, and they have over 1 billion people.
Yeah.
You know, and that says a lot.
That's a great point about due process. And even if someone is doing the wrong thing, they should have due process.
Yeah.
When somebody is doing the right thing, they should have due process. Marcella Woodard did not get due process, and yet the shooter was permitted his freedom. And he didn't have due process either. It was very obvious what happened from the start when the Ring camera footage came out and the local residents were able to offer their observations and contribute to the investigation, so that now it is a court case.
Yeah.
And a very slow and painful time for the family to adjust to. It may take a while for justice to happen, but it will happen. Justice will not be deferred for the Woodard family.
No.
It will occur.
I want to thank the community for, you know, keeping Justice for Cello alive too. You know what I mean? Because I want to I continue to keep bringing that back.
Right.
The Martin Luther King Center that gave us a few of us awards and things like that for advocating for Justice for Cello. But I want to say thank you to the ones that kept reposting Justice for Cello, the ones that woke up every day liking and loving and sharing Justice for Cello, the ones that came down to the marches, the one that came to the protests out there, the ones who wore the shirts, the one that put the signs in front of their yards, the ones that backed us up in the comment section when others would say, well, he shouldn't have done it. Bang. There's people on top of that. We didn't even have to take care of them. The community took care of them. Those ones, you individuals, you know what I'm saying? Like the Benedict, the Benestein sisters, you know what I mean? It was so many people that came together, and those are the ones I believe that should have. They're a big part of this. They didn't let up. They understood that something's wrong. We're going to work with that family. We love that family. We're going to continue with that family because we're not advocating for justice for children. We're advocating for, if this happens again, justice for all. And that's what we stand on business about this. And, you know, it's been a little bit quiet out there, seems like, you know, because we're not outside protesting and things like that. But we definitely getting things done and tightening it up for this trial that's coming up. We just don't say everything up front. We don't have to do that. We're not going to show our hand. We don't have to show our hand. We put that pressure. He's in jail right now, and we're getting settled for trial.
So you mentioned the trial, and you've also mentioned Attorney Ben Crump, who is a nationally known civil rights lawyer who has a very influential position in guiding the family in this is how we need to prepare. This is how we need to maintain our solidarity, not just as a family, but with the community. Can you talk a little bit more about Attorney Crump's visit to Erie?
Well, I would say Attorney Crump's visit wasn't just a face showing up to hit the news and then tell you goodbye for show. A face like that doesn't show up just to pretend to make it seem like there's something moving forward. A face like that means justice. A face like that means democracy. A face like transparency. A face like that means we mean business. So it's time to tighten up downtown and understand that we're not playing no games with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? His face showed up, but he left behind a message. Continue to fight for justice, individuals that are here in Erie, Pennsylvania. Continue to fight to make sure that this does not get swept under the rug. His presence basically helped us understand that, hey, what you said on those corners, I heard you, and I'm going to take it there when it's time to be taken there. You know what I'm saying? You ever fought for something for so long and put your heart and passion into it, and all of a sudden what you fought for and you worked hard for shows up? You know what I mean?
Don't give up the ship.
No, we didn't come to white flag. We came. We come for a warrior flag.
That's right.
We mean business. We mean more business than I think individuals can understand, because I can get really worked up about this because some people say, oh, you know, whatever they want to say, but this is a situation where he was shot unarmed by his parole officer, and this would be the second time in U.S. history this happened, but the first time a parole officer got charged. So blood is boiling when it comes down to the understanding of what had happened. We're not done. We got a lot of work to do, and, you know, that means that we need to stick together. We need to continue to advocate together and move forward through this trial so that individual gets all the time that he needs for what he did. And they better believe that this silence isn't silence. It's called a patient hunter. A wise man knows when to bare his teeth, and I believe that. So that's what I believe, you know, moving forward with this. So when Ben Crump showed up, we got work to do.
Right. Ben Crump showing up is like, what's a good way to describe it?
He's the voice of experience.
He's the voice of experience. When he shows up, you know things are getting serious. And like, I mean, I've heard that name throughout the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, that's a huge name in civil rights in modern America. Having him show up and show, no, this is very serious. I think that set a precedent for the community to also get more involved to show how serious it was.
It definitely meant that the issue has to be taken seriously and that accountability is necessary to create actual justice for Marcella Woodard. Well, today, Eric, we have hosted our guest, Michael Woodard.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Michael. And we definitely look forward to paying attention to how all of these stories unfold, not just affordable housing in Erie, but the Justice for Cello movement and the Enough Blood.
Yeah, most definitely.
We see now.
Also, before we sign off, could you give us a shout out to your socials, your social media, where we could see more from you?
Oh yeah. Since the Marcello Woodard's son, we had to switch the name from the Justice for Cello movement. I changed it to Perspective Equalities Across Cities Everywhere. That means peace. He had to get his name, Cello's name off everything, so I switched the name up.
Peace.
And also, the Justice for Cello movement, the family we moved into following Enough Blood. When Marcello Woodard's son started Enough Blood, I had no choice. What am I going to do? Fight for Justice for Cello by myself? No, we were going to join him in the fight for his dad and continue the legacy. We screamed Justice for Cello, and we're going to follow his son with Enough Blood and move forward, for whatever he may need and whatever he may do. That's the Facebook page. And then you can follow Enough Blood Official on Facebook also to get involved, see what's new. See what's going on with the Legacy Day, how we're giving back, things are moving forward. With other families, there's a couple other individuals here that we're advocating for through Enough Blood. This is a powerful movement. It's continuing. Once on July 2nd of 2026, you'll see how much groundbreaking tiers we have. It's just exploded on, just moving forward, and I'm excited to be a part of it. There's a couple of us out here. It's just three of us right now that's a part of Enough Blood, and we're looking to and we've been ground pounding for a couple months on trying to get this Legacy Day taken care of. And I just want to thank everyone out there. Perspective Equality Across Cities Everywhere is now my new page. I'll be having on May 30th at the City Mission, I'm having a clothing drive. We're able to donate free clothes to I want that clothing drive to be for any community member, man, woman, children. You can come there. Each individual gets 4 outfits for free. And any clothing that's left over, we're going to just donate the extra clothing to the City Mission for their program. The City Mission is not a part of this donation drive. They're just a place that will allow me to host it there at the chapel on May 30th. Got a food drive coming up also through Perspective Equalities Across Cities Everywhere on Facebook once again. And I'm going to continue through that page to continue to do what I can and then bringing people together. We understand that all walks life is not one color. It's actually everyone. We need to make this together. We're brothers and sisters as a community. Some people may look at, one person, well, he's white, I can't talk to them. Nah, we going to talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We brothers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's real, you know what I mean? Or, no, they're black, we can't talk to them because of this. Well, we going to change the narrative up in here. You know what I'm saying? Because when we walk together, we are a community together, and that's what I believe. And that goes from county-wide, and that goes to city-wide. We can bring this together with just even things like this, us being brotherhood. And, I didn't know you guys before July 2nd and all this happened, right? We never met each other ever, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, we just start connecting, and we're reaching out to each other. And I love what you two do, man. Y'all a perfect duo with y'all. I'm learning from y'all as I'm moving forward. Appreciate y'all, definitely.
Well, we definitely have learned a lot from talking with you today.
Thank you,
Michael. And the peace movement, the Enough Blood movement have brought so many people together. For just a quick moment, could you please show us the ink on your right forearm?
Yep. A little bit of 814. That's where I'm from. They can't go no bigger cities talking about, can't go no bigger cities talking about well, I'm from here. Nah, keep it real with you, And I say that I got Erie life on the other side. It's keeping it where it is, You know what that means.
Keeping it real with our brothers and sisters in the 814.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, today we want to thank everybody who's tuned in and continue to tune in to the Common Liberty Podcast. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Eric.
Thank you so much, Michael Woodard, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.